What's going on? This is the Guerilla Filmer podcast, episode 10, and I know that I'm late. This was supposed to happen last week, but I had a super crazy week. My film, The Reaper Man, dropped. I've been trying to get stuff together for it. My wife took me on a little trip that I didn't see coming, so that just kind of knocked everything off for this podcast, but we are back on track, and we're here with episode 10 episodes in, and I'm excited to keep this thing going and give some information out there for fellow filmmakers, actors, and anybody who's in the industry. And as promised, I have a guest on this episode. This is going to be my first episode where I have a guest featured on the pod, and I'm thankful to have my brother with me, who is also my lead in my film, The Reaper Man, that just dropped. Kenon Walker. So I just let you introduce yourself, bro, and just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm going to Kenon Walker. First off, thanks for having me on, man. I didn't realize I was your first guest on the podcast. That's dope.
Man. First one, man.
Yeah, I'm honored by that. Yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
But yeah, so my name's Kenon Walker. I'm an actor and historian, duck master. I'm duck master of the Peabody, but I've been an actor since I was 13. Started out in theater and eventually worked up to background extra in films and then small roles, and eventually worked my way up from there. And a historian, was lead tour guide at one point at the Civil Rights Museum for about 7 years. Stax Museum of American Soul Music for about 5.5 years, and did African American city tours with a company called the Tour of Possibilities for about 4, almost 5 years. So yes, I'm an actor, historian, and a duck master, and a father.
Dope. And all around, and just super talented, and just all around super good dude. And I want to put that out there. And I'm appreciative that you decided to come on today, and we're gonna have a good conversation, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. So today the topic is gonna be non-union films, the good and the bad from an actor's perspective. On this show, I don't want to just talk about me and how I can get projects off and everything from a director's filmmaker perspective. I want to add more talks in here for actors as well, because we're all part of this indie space at the end of the day. It's all a collaboration to get that project on the screen. So I want to put some nuggets out there for my actors, and it's no person better to have to be my first guest and to be a part of this discussion than my guy Kenon here. So how did you start? How did you get that first role, that first opportunity?
First opportunity in a film. Well, keep in mind, like I said, I started doing a lot of background extra work and kind of major films. First film I was ever in was a movie called Passing Glory, which was a TNT. It was a TNT movie about a black basketball team that Andre Bauer and Rip Torn and Ruby Dee and Khalil Kane were in. And I think I was like 13. I think 13, when I did that. But when it comes to, as far as acting in a movie, the first role that I had was a movie called Tricks in 2006. It was written and directed by De'Ara Lewis. And ironically, man, I auditioned for Tricks. I found the flyer on Beale Street, which was laying on the ground. You know what I'm saying? This was 2005, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it was about 2005. I was walking down Beale Street one day. I saw this flyer for an audition for this movie called Tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up and I was like, "Oh, they're making a movie in Memphis." Like, okay, well, let me make them try to audition for this. Thing was, the audition was on a Saturday, and I was working in this place called ASI at the time, which is like the dispatch for, like, if you order an appliance for Home Depot. Mm-hmm. When they get like a refrigerator, stove, whatever shipped to your house, the dispatch would call to see what the delivery driver was. That's what I did. I was that person to tell you how close they were to your home and this and that, right? Okay. Man, so I'll never forget, I had an audition. The audition was like at 10 or 11 on like a Saturday or something. I was supposed to be at work at 9. So I got to work, asked my manager. I was like, "Hey, man, look, I got this audition, coming up in a couple hours. So is it cool if I run out there and do that and shoot back?" And he was like, "Nah, bro, man, I'm sorry, man. I need you, man. Can't let you go." But I was like, "Man, look, Like it just, keep in mind I'm like 25 at the time, so a little less responsible than I am now. You know what I'm saying? That's like, yeah, like, come on, bro. Like, I'll shoot down there, I'll come right back. You know what I'm saying? Because something in my spirit knew, like, if I audition for this movie, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get in this movie. I mean, I knew that without a shadow of a doubt. So I asked my manager again. I'm like, come on, bro, let me go on to shoot down there. No, bro, I'm sorry, man. I can't let you go, man. I need you, man. I need you. I was like, okay, all right. I mean, back then we had these cubicles that we sat in. And had pictures and stuff that was hung up all in my cubicle. And man, and keep in mind when the call, and this is a call center, so I was working with nothing but women. And when he told me no, I sat at my desk for a second. I was about to log on to the computer so I could start taking calls, but I was like, I'm going to that audition. I'm going to that audition. I started taking the stuff down off the wall of my cubicle. And all the women was like, "Oh, what you doing?" I was like, "Man, I'm gone. I'm gone. I got to do this. I've got to do it." And they all started clapping. I'm like, "Go ahead, boy. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right?" A lot of them have been working there X amount of years. Like, I didn't care nothing about quitting the job. I didn't have a kid at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started taking my stuff down and went down there, man. And sure enough, I went down there and auditioned. I auditioned for a smaller role, but the audition went so well that I ended up getting cast for the lead role in that movie. You know what I mean? So that set me on the path, you know what I'm saying, as far as indie filmmaking. And that led to my second film because the late, great Rod Pitts, you know what I'm saying, who's a phenomenal talent, who has since passed away, rest in peace. He shot the movie Tricks. And then the next film that I would go on to do, a movie called 100 Lives, that was written and directed by Phil Dorius Wallace. Rod Pitts shot that film too. When he referred me for an audition for 100 Lives, after they'd already cast like a rapper or something to be in this villain role. But Rod believed in me, man. He told Dorius, he said, "Man, look, I've just got through working with this guy on this last movie, man. Dude, he's the truth. I think just give him an audition, see what happens." And I ended up auditioning for that, and ended up getting the villain role in that second movie. So it just kind of kept going from there.
Yeah. So it's been, I know it's totally different, especially, back in the early 2000s and now, because now, you can just get online and see a casting call and know when projects are available. So back then you pretty much had to be proactive or have an agent or something to kind of know these projects when
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you had to kind of put your feet to the concrete and, go out here and seek out auditions. And, there were certain like websites you go and look for certain auditions. But yeah, it was nothing then like it is now. You know what I'm saying? It was much more difficult.
Yeah. As far as, because you've been in a whole bunch of projects and it's a topic that I see coming up. When is it, would I say that you get to a point to where you feel like you're, I'm not going to say above, but you're past auditioning? Like, is it a certain part, or is it good to ever get to that point to where you feel like you're too good to audition for a project? Like my work should speak for itself. Or is there ever a point when you should get there, or should you always be the type to still, submit for projects, still be willing to audition? How do you treat that?
I mean, truth be told, man, I think it's always best to be willing to audition. You know what I'm saying? Because depending on the talent pool that the casting people are looking at, you know what I'm saying, you might have to prove yourself. Mm-hmm. Now and when I first started out, I pretty much auditioned for everything. You know what I'm saying? I was used to going to auditions, waiting in line, like those cattle call auditions. You know what I'm saying? When you're sitting there with a whole line full of people waiting to go in there and read like a half a page or a side or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I've been through, I don't know how many of them. You know what I'm saying? This was like before video submissions. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to go to wherever the theater or the school, wherever it was they were having all this, you had to show up
in person
and wait. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? And then see the competition. You know what I'm saying? That this auditioning for the same role that you're auditioning for.
Yeah.
But what that did, man, like for me, it showed me how to win a room. You know what I mean? Because the thing was, like, I was living my dream. Like, even auditioning, it was just like, man, I'm living my dream. And I feel like there was no sense of competition, because I feel like if something is for you, it's for you. If it's not, then it's not. Congratulations to the person who it was for. And, you know what I'm saying? Wish them nothing but the best. I never felt jaded for any auditions that, for roles that I didn't get or anything like that. Because I always had that, if it's for me, it's for me kind of mentality. You know what I'm saying? And what's for you is for you. Nobody can take what's for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed the audition process. And the thing was, I learned how to go in there and win the room. You know what I'm saying? To connect with the casting agent, like, ask how your day was going. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Win the room and make them like me before I even read the first line.
Yeah.
I mean, because then what happens is it puts them in a position where it's like, okay, we want him, but please let him be able to act.
Yeah.
Please let him be good. Let him be good, please. You know what I'm saying?
That first impression grabs him.
Right. You know what I mean? And humbly, I'd like to say that I'm a pretty good actor. You know what I mean? I just think I was born with a natural sensibility to take situations and put them in characters and bring that to life. I always thrived off of that anyway. So
yeah.
I knew that if I could win the room, if I could get them to like me, then the audition part was just that was easy. It was just like, let me just kill the part. You know what I'm saying? Do the best I can. Because I came to realize that people really want to work with people that they are comfortable around, that they like. So the filmmaking experience will be a lot smoother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can be one of the most talented artists in the world, but if you know what I'm saying, if you got a messed up attitude, or if you got like an ego, or you just seem real difficult to work with, then that talent might not even matter. They might not even call you back if they didn't like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So actually, I used to look forward to the audition process. It is now to the point where I'm not having to audition quite as much as I used to. You know what I mean? Because I've been acting in Memphis 24 years now. I've been acting since 1993. I started in Atlanta, and when I moved to Memphis in '99, I did my first play, and I've been acting ever since then. And so now I've built bonds and relationships with people over the years that have gone on to do bigger and better things, and I also, I'll work with new filmmakers. You know what I mean? If I believe in them, and if they, have a quality work that they're putting together. Yeah, I always, love working with new filmmakers. But I never feel like it's good to get to a point to where you feel like you shouldn't have to audition, because there's somebody that's hungry for that role. There's somebody that's waiting for that opportunity, and it's like do or die for them. So I think if at any point you get to feeling like you're too good to have to prove yourself to somebody who's looking for something specific, then you might be doing this for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Kind of starting to get an ego about it in a way. Yeah. That's dope, man. It was some gems right there. So, like you said, you've been doing this thing for 20 plus years. Without getting too specific, can you think of off your head some good moments on set and maybe some bad moments on set that kind of was like, I don't know if I want to, I'm gonna do my thing, but I ain't feeling it right now. Can you think of any off bat or?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've had some great experiences on sets, and I've had some not so pleasant ones on set. You know what I mean? The ones that weren't so pleasant. I never forget. There was a series of projects that I worked on with a specific director, and this director had a tendency to yell. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of scream versus just giving direction. There was like outbursts, just yelling all the time. Even if it wasn't directed toward me, it was just the directorial style of said person was just yelling and screaming all the time.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, you know what? Like one that breaks you out of, you know what I'm saying, the comfortability that you need to be in to be able to own that role and play that character. Because there's tension on set.
Yeah.
But then if you're not patient enough to work with your cast, or if you're frustrated with the people that you cast for your project, it's like, man, what kind of direction am I supposed to take from you if you're just screaming? Yeah. I'm the type where, like I said, if you raise your voice to me or you give me that kind of hostile energy, it kind of puts me in a place where it's like, hold up, because one, I'm a man of respect first. You know what I'm saying? I give the respect that I expect from people. I really have no tolerance for disrespect, and that's not either toward me or toward anyone else. But when you're working on a project and the director's screaming at cast members, but then would like use you as an example of what they want the cast member to do. Like you see what Kenon's doing, do that. It's like, hey, don't do that. Don't use me as an example of what you want. Because now you're creating hostility toward me from them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So working with this particular director on a few projects, I will say that I'm not missing working with said director. Man, I have not worked with said director since years and years and years.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was always one common thing, that the aggression that said person had when they were directing. They used to hate working on their projects. I hated all that hostility.
Yeah.
But some of the best, you know what I'm saying, best experiences. I'll never forget, I did a film called My Blueberry Night, which Nora Jones was in, and Jude Law, David Strathairn. It was as director's Wong Kar-wai. It was his first English speaking first English speaking film. You know, he's I think a Korean or an Asian director.
Mm-hmm.
And Nora Jones, I was on that set for 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, so I got a lot of time to spend, you know, on the set. And Nora Jones, man, was like one of the coolest people. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'd come over to the table, eat lunch with me, and you know what I'm saying, we'd chit chat in between takes, and you know, every day we were there, we just kind of bonded. We got closer and closer, and I was like, yo, this is dope, man. That's Nora Jones right there. You know what I'm saying? But she was just cool and down to earth, man. And every day we see each other, she was like, oh, you back again? You back again? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm here for the long run. You know what I mean? And David Strathairn, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, if you Google him, for those who don't know who he is, you know, if you Google him, you know exactly who he is. But he's one of those character actors where it's like, you know that dude's in everything, but you don't quite know his name. But if you see his face, it's like, oh, this man's in everything. Now, I'll never forget, I did a scene with him and Rachel Wise. And my reaction in that scene, I guess, caught his peripheral vision. So when they yelled cut, he came over to where I was sitting. He said, hey, man, that reaction to that line, brilliant. I was like, oh, shit. David Strathairn just came up, man, okay. You know what I'm saying? So when the stars of the films themselves were personable, you know what I'm saying, they weren't standoffish, then those made really great experiences being on those sets.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Do you find it like when you because you know, you always hear those horror stories, especially these actors, these more celebrity actors or whatever, that they're kind of standoffish and kind of look down on everybody. So your experiences with them has been a lot more positive. You haven't dealt with that.
For the most part, yeah. There was one film that I worked on where there was a fairly well known actor, a female actor. It's been in television films, been in television series, and been in films. I didn't really care for her. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Didn't really care for her because the project that we were on, which, you know, justifiably so, was like probably like $1 million project. You know, so low budget standards by this person's, resume, or you know what I'm saying, by their list of credits. So I guess from their perspective, they're working on this little low budget podunk movie in Memphis. And that's how they acted. You know what I'm saying? Like, they acted like they were too good to be there. You know, they acted like, you know, this was beneath her. You know what I mean? And this is one of my first times on a movie having my own trailer. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm on cloud 10. I'm like, man, I got cast for this movie. I got my own trailer. You know what I'm saying? But then when they took us from where the trailers were to the set, you know, we rode together in the same van. And said person was, you know, sitting next to me. And from somebody who, you know, I recognized and who I was excited to be meeting. And man, she just wasn't cool, man. Like she just was not personable. She didn't, you know, you could tell she didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it kind of soured my experience. I mean, I tried my best to not let it, but this is somebody I recognize. I'm like, oh man, I'm in this movie with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Like, these are like, you know, fairly well-known actors, you know what I'm saying? They're all still working today. But this one particular young lady was just not pleasant at all to work with, man. And she was the worst part of having made that movie. Yeah. But everybody else, but then there was balance to that, you know what I'm saying? Because there was another actress who's, I'll say her name is Denise Boutte. You know what I mean? Who's been on the Tyler Perry shows and this and that. Sweetest woman ever. I mean, when I tell you the woman was so sweet, man, like she was just so personal and so nice and just and then beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She was the balance to this other female actor that was on that set, on that same project. Yeah. So, you know, there was a balance there, but for the most part, my encounters with celebrities has been pretty good.
That's dope. And it brings me, like, when you're talking about the directors, like, it, especially a lot of newer directors, I think they hear how Stanley Kubrick was and Coppola back in the day, and they think they can mimic that and be yelling at folks and like, man, pump your brakes. You know, it's a lot more with directing than thinking you can just yell at people. Like, you need to get a connection, and it always have respect first and foremost. You're not them, and I don't even know if those sets were healthy, to be honest with you, when they were doing it back like that back in the day. So you know that.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was with Shelley Long, when they were making The Shining.
Yep, Shining.
Yeah,
Drove her crazy.
man. It said Stanley Kubrick took her down through there, man. Like, she was had like damn like a nervous breakdown after working with her.
And like, I can see, like, it's maybe, maybe if you weren't getting what you felt you were getting from her, maybe you can go through more extreme methods instead of abusing a person. I think you can always find a way to get what you want without going that extreme. But
Right.
that's kind of nowadays that wouldn't slide.
The union would be on you.
Yeah. Whole different story. So when it comes to projects, let's say, somebody who doesn't have a lot under their belt, and even some people maybe with a few under their belt, and they're going for projects, or somebody puts a script on their desk and they're blown away by the script, but that person may not have money to pay them, or you're part of this project that has money to pay, but it's a little. How do you look at actors who focus more on pay or the project? Like, what should they focus on? Should it be the pay, or should it be the project, or does it depend on that actor?
I think it depends on the reason why you're doing it. Like, if you're in this acting game just solely to make a living, and and to acquire some fame, then I could see why you would think that doing free projects is beneath you. Me personally, my personal experience, I was just grateful for opportunities to be in films. Like, that was a dream of mine since I was 13. Like I said, first time I saw Jurassic Park, I wanted to be in movies. So the fact that I was on the set, and even like a small indie film, like one camera and a boom mic, and having to constantly change batteries on this and stopping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was making a movie. So my concern really was being a part of good work. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a part of good films and good work, quality work. Not just stuff thrown together just for the sake of saying we made this. And I mean, like, because I realized that films are forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love films. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite things to do is go to the movies. You know what I mean? So films last forever. They will be there forever. And so I was always conscious of trying to attach myself to good quality work. I had no problem, doing free projects, because I was always one of those, I'm working a job and then I'm filming a movie. Like, if I don't even know what it's like to not work a 9 to 5 and film a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always had to do both. I've always juggled, you know what I'm saying, work and then acting, because I knew that you got to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So if I can pay my bills with this 9 to 5, then it could justify me not being paid doing what it is that I've always dreamt about doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what made me appreciate the experiences, on those sets more, because I wasn't getting paid for them, but at the same time, what came out of it was just, I was so proud of. So I can honestly say the majority of the early projects that I did, I did for free.
Yeah.
I mean, had no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to be a part of such good. I wanted a great resume. I wanted a resume full of great work. I didn't want a bunch of stuff that I had to tell you to skip past. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, pull up your IMDb. Oh, don't worry about that one. Don't skip that one. Skip that one. Don't watch. Please don't watch that one. I ain't know that one was on there. Man, I gotta take that off. Oh no, watch that one. This is the one you need to do. Yeah, I ain't want to have you to do a bunch of skipping around. You know what I'm saying? So I've been very fortunate with the projects that I've been in. But at the same time, to be honest with you, now, like I said, I've acquired SAG status. You know what I'm saying? I'm a SAG actor. So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I don't have an agent. I don't have a manager. I don't have a publicist. I don't have a team of people that are creating opportunities for me or submitting me for things. My whole grind up to this point has been an independent one. You know what I'm saying? Even the major stuff that, that I've been in, at some points I became cool with those casting directors who were casting for those major films. And, they sent for me, or if I went to go audition, I knew the casting agent, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I ended up in those. It was never an agent that submitted me for something I got accepted like that. It was through bonds and relationships built. And a lot of those bonds and relationships were built on those free projects. You know what I'm saying? And they went on to go do things that were paying, and they kept me in mind because I still gave it my all, even though I wasn't getting paid, monetarily for the project. I still gave it my all. And people will remember that when there's money to pay. Like when they got money to pay, they'll remember, who grinded and who really, showed up, and they still were dedicated when there was no money on the line. Because when a lot of times I'm assuming when filmmakers start out, because I haven't gotten to the filmmaking side of things yet, which I will. But I'm sure when the filmmakers start out, the budgets are tight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there is no budget. Sometimes, this is a vision, and I'm using the equipment that I got to try to make this thing work. And I need a team of dedicated people that will work as if they're being paid in order for me to pull this project off. I assume that's a very hard thing to find, as a cast of people who will work for free. But I think if you will only work for money, like if you'll say, well, I'm not doing that, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on a lot of quality projects. You're going to miss out on a lot of quality relationships that could have been built if you don't do it just because you weren't getting paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that, in my experience, now this is my opinion, this has been my journey, if I could go back and redo anything, I wouldn't change anything. There's even recent projects that I've been in that because I had such a good time in them, I refused payment.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm good. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So I care more about that. But now that I'm SAG, I guess now I got to get paid because I'm in the union. I'm in the union. So it's like I'm learning how to do. I'm learning how to do it backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people get an agent and all this to make it to SAG.
Yeah.
I made it to SAG, and I got to try to find an agent and all that and figure out how to do it with that.
Somebody
I'm
said,
kind of
yeah, and that's something like those some dimes right there, man. Because I be seeing like like a lot of especially in our area, a lot of the projects going on is from indie filmmakers. Most of the time, you probably know, most of the time when projects come, especially into Memphis, it's not a studio here. Most of the time when they come to Memphis, they want to film on location in Memphis. They want the character of Memphis. And you get a few of those projects every year, but most of the indie filmmakers are the ones who are making these projects. So a lot of time they're putting their own money into it and making these projects. And like me, I try to pay, because I'm just that type of person. I want to pay. I want to let you know, even though I ain't got a lot, I want to pay you and show you appreciate it. And this is one lady that always, every time I post a casting call, is it paid? I said, yeah, it's paid. Do you have a reel? Do you have credits or anything I can watch you in? No. I'm like, you hadn't even started yet, and you weren't about to pay. So kind of get your foot wet first, and you work yourself there. You'll get there. But I tell everybody, your worth. Just don't get mad when you don't get any callbacks.
Right.
So you spoke on being SAG, and that was one of the questions. How did you become SAG, and working somewhere, especially like here in the South, where it's what do they call it here? You are a what do they call it when you? It's free work state? What they call it? You know the word I'm looking for.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like working somewhere like around here. Do you recommend it, or like how did you come there, and do you recommend it for actors who are working around this area mostly?
For me, man, because again, I've been acting for 24 years. I'm really I say from like the mid 2000s to 2000 to like 2010, 12, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. I literally tried to get in the background of every movie that came through Memphis because I love being on set. Mm-hmm. I just love seeing the process, seeing that star, seeing that cast, and seeing what the production crew was doing with the equipment and how they set this up over there. I didn't mind waiting in the casting area and eating over to the side where the extras were. And I just wanted to be on set, you know what I mean? But acquiring enough hours on those SAG projects as an extra, it built enough hours to where I became SAG eligible. You know what I mean? Because keep in mind, I did background in Hustle and Flow. I did Scream 2. I did Past and Glory. I did My Blueberry Nights. I did a movie called Insecure. And a few other ones. And these were SAG films. So I acquired these hours, you know what I'm saying, that made me SAG eligible. And I'll be honest, I stayed SAG eligible maybe 12 years, 13 years, because there weren't enough SAG projects coming through Memphis to justify me joining SAG, because then I would have to try to figure out, how to be connected to those SAG projects. And I didn't have an agent or anything. And plus, I knew that by being SAG, it would X me out of being able to work with the filmmakers that I had built bonds with, because they weren't making SAG projects. So I stayed SAG eligible for at least, I'd have been longer than 12 years. I've been probably SAG eligible for like 15 years, right? But then what it was I got cast recently in a movie called Way Down Bundy, which Christina Arquette, who was David Arquette's wife, is an executive producer of, along with a woman named Carrie Ann Roshman and Kate Manoff. Carrie Ann I met at the Peabody, while I was working as the club floor concierge and the assistant duck master. She came in my lounge up on the club floor, and we bonded. And it led to her introducing me to David Arquette, and then these bonds being made, these opportunities starting to happen. But when I got cast in Way Down Bundy, this is my first, Hollywood film. I filmed that 2 Octobers ago, so I'm assuming it'll come out sometime. Hell, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But they flew me to LA. You know what I'm saying? That was my second time being in Hollywood. First time was to be on this game show called To Tell the Truth. But this time they flew me first class. You know what I'm saying? First class, Delta. You know what I'm saying? They could drink, I don't know how many bottles of Pinot Noir on the way there. Feeling something when I got there. You know what I'm saying? And I stayed in a Malibu and mansion with them. You know what I mean? But the thing was, when I got to set, but before I got to set, the line producer sent me an email and said, well, in order for you to play this role, you must be SAG. Like, this is a speaking role in a SAG film. Like, you can't play this role and not be SAG. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I let Christina and Carrie Ann them know what the line producer said. And I will say that they were kind enough to take care of my SAG fees, you know what I'm saying, in order for me to be in this film that they cast me in. So I was fortunate. I was very, very fortunate, because, again, I was patient, and I guess it happened for me the way that it was meant to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, those SAG fees ain't cheap. That initial join-up fee, that's like over $5,000. And then it's like every 6 months you got to pay like $100 and something. That's just current.
Yeah.
But there's things that comes along with it. It's like being part of a union. You know what I mean? It's which I haven't taken advantage of yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to get an agent and do some more SAG work. But it protects you under the union. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As far as insurance and travel accommodation, hotels, and all this type of stuff, transportation. Okay. So I'm branching into what being a SAG artist is like. But that's how I got there. It was that movie Way Down Bundy.
Okay. That's dope, because I always thought, like, you used to always hear that you can be non-union and still be cast into SAG projects. So you can't get a speaking role as a non-union actor, or you have to be FICOR, which I believe can do the SAG and non-union stuff. It's a whole bunch of talk with all that stuff.
Yeah, I think if it's a minimal role in a SAG film, then you can be non-union and still play it. Because I've been in SAG films while SAG eligible and for small roles, and there wasn't a problem. But this role was, multiple scenes, lots of dialogue. So like, you have to be SAG. That was what was called must join. You know what I'm saying? I was in must join status. Okay. So like I said, I was fortunate because the producers took care of my fees for me, and I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, now I got to try to figure out how to, operate SAG, man.
Yeah, because I know just looking through some of the stuff, just trying to figure out, because I remember one time back I was trying to cast an actor, and they were SAG, and like it was like, goodness gracious, this is like reading the Bible almost. There's so much stuff you got to know in there. But yeah, it's a whole different thing there. So would you, to other actors out there, how do you feel about IMDb? Do you feel like that's important? Is it anything special into having that IMDb page? Because that's something that I run into talking with certain people a lot on the no budget level. A lot of people ask me, like, is having this IMDb page worth it from an actor's perspective? How do you feel about it?
Oh man, my IMDb page is one of my proudest representations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had an IMDb page since like the mid 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like after I did Tricks and 100 Lives, I think I started. This is just a basic IMDb page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I would always go on IMDb to look up movies and actors. You know, that was always my first go-to. I'm a movie buff. So if I want to know the behind the scenes of something, if I want to know, who directed it, who wrote it, all that, I would go to IMDb. And that's, of course, it's IMDb, the International Movie Database. That's like the number one source that people will go to. But then I paid to upgrade to IMDb Pro. You know what I'm saying? With IMDb Pro, you can put your own pictures on there, and you know what I'm saying, you can list your own credits, and then with them, what you will find what will happen is the credits that you worked on will sometimes connect to you. Like you don't even have to put your own credits on it; they'll connect to your page. And then when you're in projects that are no streaming or whatever, then that IMDb link becomes your bio, like on the screen. Like if you go to the cast on on a movie, and that bio is there, that bio came from IMDb. You know what I'm saying? So it connects to so many other sources. And when an agent or if a director or something is trying to locate you, and you don't have an agent like me, you know what I'm saying? And there's no one to get in touch with that's a representative of you. Then the IMDb page is right there. You know what I'm saying? They can send you a message on the IMDb. You know what I mean? That's a worldwide thing. So to me, the IMDb is a very, very valuable tool. It's a very quick way to send somebody your resume, your list of credits. It looks professional, you know what I'm saying? Because universally across the board, everyone uses it. Hollywood actors have IMDb pages. You know what I mean? So I think it makes it a little bit more credible, especially if you're a new artist or a new actor. You don't have a lot of credits under your belt. You only got maybe 1 or 2 credits. If those 2 credits are on the IMDb page, I think they'll be taken a bit more seriously than if they were just on your 2-item resume that you just handed to the director on the back of your headshot. You know what I'm saying? So that that IMDb page is priceless to me.
Yeah, and I tell a lot of people that I'm like, if that $20 a month, I think that's what it is. If that's if you're just doing this once off, you just trying it, maybe not an IMDb page. But if this is something that you're really trying to do, that's like a resume. Like I know a lot of casting directors and stuff. Like they'll look you up, and if you don't have an IMDb page, they just because nothing looks worse than having like you said on IMDb, and you look in and the cast pops up with all these credits with no pictures. Like nobody has a picture up there, and like that looks so good when you have everybody's just professional. They got IMDb pages. And like you said, if somebody's trying to reach you who's not social media savvy and doesn't want to sit here and look through a bunch of profiles, they'll go straight to your credit, look at your email, your contact information. Hey, would you mind auditioning for this role? So I guess it just matters, how serious you are or how you're looking at.
I agree with that. If it's a hobby for you, if it's something you'll be dabbling in, it's not really worth it. But if you're serious, and it's definitely that's a worthy investment in yourself.
Yeah, and you spoke on this earlier. What's the risk in being involved in every opportunity? Like, being one of those, like they say Samuel L. Jackson is one of the, I believe he said at one point that he would act in anything. Like he didn't never turn down the opportunity, but this is Hollywood,
Right.
down here on this level, sometime every opportunity ain't the best one.
Yeah.
And like me and you were talking about once before, like this film that we saw where like as soon as it popped on, we see nudity. Like, gosh, like come on, like what's the dangers of that? Like, is it good to get all the work you can in and work that acting muscle, or should you really be careful on some of these projects?
I personally, feel that you should be very selective in what you'll be a part of. Now, one thing that I do recognize, right, is that my reason for doing this is more of a purpose-driven reason. I don't care about fame. I don't care about being seen. I don't care about you knowing who I am. I don't care about that. As ironic as that seems to be being in the public, I've never wanted fame. I've never wanted attention. I've never wanted everyone to know who I am. I just wanted to be in good work. You know what I'm saying? But the work that I'm in puts me in the public. So therefore, you're going to recognize who I am because it's my face that you see. You know what I mean? I'm very much an extroverted introvert. You know what I mean? But I love my alone time. I love to be able to cut it off, not have to, be around people, not answer no questions,
I feel
and
you.
not, what I'm saying, be the center of attention.
Yeah.
I do recognize that there are some people out there who just want to be in films. They want to just be able to say, I'm in a movie. Doesn't matter what the quality of the movie is. Doesn't matter, how well it looks. Doesn't matter if the movie's good. They just want to say, hey, I'm in a movie because they want to be able to say, I'm a movie star. I'm a movie star. I've been in 5 movies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you look at those 5 movies and it's like, okay, well, they're movies. They're completed works. They're scenes that are in order and people are playing roles in them. But I mean, are you going to be okay with that representing you forever? Like if you do get to a point to where you really want to be taken seriously, in your craft. I wonder sometimes if people think about, the shortness of attention that people have when they're looking for talent. Mm-hmm. If you have a resume full of films that are just, you can tell there was not a lot of effort put into quality or the filmmaking process. It was just rushed together. It was just done because they did it and they put it out, and it just wasn't just noteworthy. It just was what it was. If you got a whole bunch of those, you know what I'm saying, on your resume, when you're in front of that casting director who is casting for talent, and this is the role you really, really, really wanted to be in, like this is the one where I feel like, okay, I'll straighten myself up, I'll change my image, I'll put my all in for this one. Well, when they look at your resume and they pull up one of those X amount of movies that you did just because you wanted to be seen, all they got to do is look at that first frame or that one scene that you're in, but it don't matter. It don't even matter if you've evolved over time. It doesn't even matter if you got better and attach yourself to better quality projects. If you got a whole bunch of stuff that represents you that is substandard, that's subpar, then they're like, okay, they're going to associate you with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So every time they see you, they will associate you with that quality work. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I have a list of criteria that I have before I will sign on to a project. Yeah. I mean, especially if it's a new director, you know what I'm saying? First, I got to see a script. Send me a script so I can read this script, and I'll know if this is something I want to be a part of and where my character fits in, as far as a bigger story. 2, show me that's a link to something else that you filmed. If this is your first film and the script is good, then who's going to shoot this? I mean, is there a link to something that he or she has shot prior to this, so I know what kind of quality we're going to be working with? Is the videographer a first-time person? It's like, okay, if you know what you're getting into, prior to, like I said, I gotta have a script. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta know, like I said, who's shooting it, or see an example of something that was done before. If it's paid or non-paid, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you want to know that. And then from that point, you kind of factor in if you want to be a part of it or not. I've said no to a lot of projects, you know what I'm saying? Not because of the person that asked me, you know what I'm saying, but because there was no experience there that made me feel comfortable enough lending my image and my talent to this project. There's some projects that I said yes to, and they either weren't completed or they never came out. And I thank God for that, man. When I saw some of these projects, I was like, man, God, this is terrible. This is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a realist, man. Like if something's bad, whether I'm in it or not, then I'm like, hey, that's not good. Man, that's not good. Fortunately, I've not been attached to any terrible projects. Some are better than others. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But nothing that I'm ashamed for anybody to see or that I got to apologize for or to explain I was in a different place in life at that time. And I just, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And so I think it's definitely, you got to respect your image, man. Like you got to respect your image because you're going to grow past that opportunistic point at some point if you're an artist. Yeah. Yes, it sounds great when hey man, I met somebody, they want me to be in a movie, dude. Yeah. Okay, that's great, but what have they done? Like, have you seen any of their other movies? No, but he was cool though. Yeah. Okay, well, like the people just get excited about saying they were in movies, and then next thing you know, just like I said, you become known for being attached to just really low level work. You know what I'm saying? But if that works for you, cool. Like I said, I mean, if some people just want to be seen, you want to be able to say, "Hey, I was in a movie." Hey, salute to you. I'm not knocking nobody for what they do. There's an audience out there for it. There's a lot of people out there that really love and seek out great, terrible movies.
Yeah.
Terrible, great movies. Some movies are so terrible
Yeah.
that you enjoy watching them because they're so bad.
The
If you
drinking night movies.
well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you're okay being in those, hey man,
Yeah.
more power to you. There's gonna be plenty of opportunity out there to be in projects just like that.
Yeah.
But me personally, and again, I say this in a very non-judgmental way, I just have a little bit more respect for what my name is attached to, because I want my name to be synonymous with excellence, or my name to be synonymous with quality, or a brand that when you hear, oh, Kenon Walker's a part of it. Oh, Kenon Walker. Okay, I know the dude. Yeah. Okay. I know what to expect if he's a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, just I definitely would say don't jump at every opportunity that you get, man, because you can't erase it once they hit record.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something like, in low budget or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean bad, because you can tell when somebody loves what they're doing. And what I'm noticing now, especially with this Tubi boom and stuff like that, like you got a lot of distributors out there now who are actually paying you, hey, I need a movie. Here's $10,000. Go make me a movie. So you got a lot of filmmakers out here who've turned filmmaking into a hustle.
Right.
And they care nothing about the craft. They just want to make this movie, get it done as fast as possible so they can get to the next one and get that check. Whereas you'll find another filmmaker where you can look at this film. It may not be the highest quality. It may not have, all the action shots and stuff. It may just be so artsy or whatever. But you tell they cared about that project. They cared about the performances. They cared about the story. And, you just have to kind of look for those filmmakers who line with your beliefs. Like you said, if you want to just be seen and say, hey, hey, do your thing. But you just had to align with those filmmakers who value making quality work, I believe.
And the thing is too that, like I said, like be honest with yourself. Like I said, like if you are in something that's terrible.
Yeah.
You know it's terrible. You may try to justify it because you're in it, and you know what I'm saying. If you've attached yourself to something terrible and you know it, be mindful of what not to do in the next project, or who not to attach yourself to, or now you know what to look forward to. So I'm not saying it's not okay to slip up and make mistakes out of ignorance because you didn't know what questions to ask and you end up in a bad project. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of great actors who have been in some terrible movies for whatever reason.
Yeah.
When their performance was terrible, sometimes the film itself just didn't turn out how they hoped it would.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, just be honest. Like don't just revel in the fact that you're saying I got 12 movies under my belt, but then like
none of them are watchable.
None of them are watchable. Yeah, none of them are watchable. Like that if you were to put them on in a room full of even your closest people are gonna tune out.
Yeah.
So you know it's not good. You're just trying to justify it yourself. So again, if that's your lane, fill that lane because there's an audience for it. But don't expect the same level of recognition or respect for those who have the love for the craft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would rather, like I said, be great in a terrible movie than terrible in a great movie.
Yeah.
Right? But if I can be great in a great movie, then that's the game. That's the end goal right there.
Yeah. And I always check, like you said, I always ask questions because everybody starts somewhere. And me being a first-time director, knowing my stuff might not be the best. I wouldn't have the gall to ask somebody like you, hey, you want to be in this movie, knowing I really don't know what I'm doing at this point. You need to find somebody who's starting just like you and work your way up. You just kind of, like you said, look at yourself and know where you are. Be real with yourself, and it's levels to it. So that's I believe it's what I want this podcast for. I believe it's some dope content for people to check into and get some of this. So as far as that, staying in kind of in that realm, a new actor, constantly submitting, constantly audition, just can't get a role. Like they like, man, this is not for me because I just can't get booked into nothing. What would you tell that actor? Like, how would you encourage that actor? What advice would you give that actor to get in that first role? Like, what questions would you ask that actor? Like, what are you doing here and here? Like, how would you help that actor get to that first project that they're trying to get to?
Well, I think well now, you know what I'm saying, things are so much easier for becoming a content creator than they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, in order to, to create content, like you literally had to sit and type it out or, use a word processor or, get on the computer and let's really type it out. Like, now, like I said, with social media, with, cell phones, with, iPhones, this and that, all the stuff, writing programs that will make things easier for you. Sometimes if you're not being cast in the roles that you're going out for, one, ask yourself, what what is it about that role that I wanted anyway? Like, was it really a role that was for me, or was it just the opportunity? You know what I'm saying? I was trying to fill. Are you trying to attach yourself to every opportunity you get, or are you really trying to attach yourself to a character that you feel like you could best play? I mean, if you are auditioning for characters that you feel like you could best play, then I think there's a quality that you'll bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? That hopefully that director or casting agent will see. But then again, you also have to. What has worked for me is winning the room. Be a personable person. Know how to win the room. If it's a video submission, then I guess you need to make sure that your lighting is right. Make sure the quality of your video submission is of a certain standard. You know what I mean? But if you're continuously auditioning, you're never getting anything, then it could be a number of different things. It could be lack of skill. It could be, you might need some brushing up as far as your acting skills. There's acting classes out there. There's acting coaches. There's people that can help you as far as that. Because acting is being. Acting is becoming. Acting is not performing. It's becoming. You know what I'm saying? So there's a natural ability. And I'm not saying that I'm Denzel. I'm not saying that I'm just a top-notch A1 Oscar award-winning actor. I take pride in my craft. You know what I'm saying? I do backstories for my characters. You know what I'm saying? I really put my all into even just mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? If I give a character a little stutter or kind of overly anxious, I'm consciously doing these things to give a character certain traits so I can become that character. And there's a process that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you delivering all your lines the same way in them auditions? Are you always talking like this? I don't want to go outside no more. Don't ask me again. It's like, if that's what you give it out, you know what I'm saying? If that's what your audition tape look like, then why are you surprised you're not getting cast? You know what I'm saying? Really put your pride to the side. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are really just they want to be cool. Like they don't want to lose the sense of themselves by playing a character that would do something they feel like they personally would never do. It's not about you. It ain't about you. You know what I'm saying? Like to put your pride to the side. You know what I'm saying? If your character is somebody that, you know what I'm saying, that you would never be, then become that character. You're not playing yourself.
Yep. It's acting.
It's acting. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, but at the same time, there's opportunity to where, like, if you just audition and you can't seem to get nothing, you can create your own content. You can write. You can create your own role. You know what I'm saying? You can develop a character that you feel like you could best play. You know what I mean? And it may take a while, and maybe it's a slower, you know what I'm saying, journey because you're doing it independently. But that's how a lot of these independent filmmakers got to where they are because they couldn't get hired, or they couldn't get cast, or they were constantly getting doors slammed in their face. They say, you know what, I'm just gonna create my own stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that is an option. So, don't ever discredit, the power that you have to write your own roles.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot, especially with TikTok. I can't think of her name, but this lady would get on there and do monologues, like from movies or dramatic monologues, and killed it. Like, and I believe she started. There was a reason why she got on there. She just couldn't get booked, and she started getting so much attention from these monologues. Like she had to start turning down roles. So that's a great example of just taking it into your own hands and creating your own opportunity out here.
Right.
Yeah, and and I tell a lot of people just from a director's end, like it's been plenty of times where somebody was talented who probably submitted for a role or something, and they were talented. Like I probably wanted this person for this role, but I couldn't find enough submissions, or somebody to fit this other role, and then this person ended up being way younger than this person and they need to be close to the same age. So even though I love this person, I had to go with this other person because they fit this person better. Like, it's so much that goes into casting. And I usually tell people, just don't get discouraged. Keep working on your craft and keep shooting toward it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, prime example, like David Arquette, who I mentioned earlier, who is a friend of mine, who I've worked on 3 projects with. He became a producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he and his wife Christina, they're producers. They create content. They produce content. Because even David said, and I don't think he would mind me saying this because this is like in his documentary, You Cannot Kill David Arquette, which is out everywhere. Excellent documentary. But after he was in Ready to Rumble, the wrestling movie, and then he started getting into wrestling, it hurt his acting career because people didn't necessarily take him seriously. I mean, they kept playing. He was playing what was called, I guess, referred to as goofball roles, and he was getting typecast, and he wasn't being considered for more serious roles. So he said he went on like a 10-year period where he was just auditioning and never got called back for anything. You know what I mean? So then he started a production company. He started creating his own content, and now, like I said, he and his wife have a streaming service called Documentary Plus. They got a documentary production company called XTR, another one called One Last Run, another one called Kids Gone Bad, and now they're like, they produced the They Call Me Magic, the Magic Johnson documentary that came on Apple not too long ago. They were executive producers of that. There's a new documentary with Van Jones. I think it's called the First Step. I think it's called. They're executive producers of that. So there's ways to stay productive. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not being cast for the things that you're specifically going out for.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Man, this was an amazing conversation, man. To be my first guest, you knocked it out the park. I think it was so many jewels that people can take away from this episode. And I think this is probably one of my best ones yet, to be honest with you, man. So I appreciate you coming on, spreading this wisdom.
Yeah, man. It went quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because I have a tendency to, in my mind, it sounds like I'm rambling on, but I just, I try to articulate as much as I can to where it can be received by whoever's listening. Yeah. And those things, when you have real talk, it goes quick. When you have fruitful and meaningful conversation, it goes quick. So I appreciate being invited on here. I always appreciate talking to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you my brother. And like I said, I'm honored to have been the first guest on the podcast.
First one, man. And I appreciate you coming on. Let everybody know how they can find you and your socials and all that for anybody who's listening.
Yeah, I'm DB, Kenon Walker, Kenon, last name Walker. Facebook, Kenon Walker. Instagram, Kenon_Walker. And I got a Duck Master Kenon TikTok page. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not a TikTok savvy. People got all these videos of me out. You know what I'm saying? Of me like marching ducks, this and that, man, and viral. I mean, there's so many. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of viral videos of me on other people's pages. You know what I'm saying? That have millions of views apiece. My daughter came to me a couple years ago and said, Daddy, you're a trending topic on TikTok. I was like, that's dope, baby. Like, what's that mean? And she starts scrolling and showing me all these videos. I'm like, so man, I'm making a lot of people killing. People are making killing off of me and these ducks. But I do have a Duck Master Kenon TikTok page. I wouldn't bother going to it. I'm never on there. But Instagram and Facebook are the 2 quickest ways to get in touch with me. I'm DB, of course. Kenon Walker. And like I said, man, stay tuned. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. Of course, the Reaper Man is out right now. Reaper Man is out right now. You know what I'm saying? On all streaming platforms, anywhere you can rent or buy movies. Let me repeat that. Anywhere where you can rent or buy movies. Please stop coming to me and saying you couldn't find it on Netflix, or that because you were Amazon Prime member, you thought you'd be able to watch it for free. Support the movie. This movie is available to rent or to buy. I bet when Creed 3 came out and it came out early, you realized that you could rent it or buy it. Guess what you did? Yep. You rented it or you bought it. Or you watched it on the Fire Stick. You know what I'm saying? Yep. We either one. You watch the Fire Pit, you know what I'm saying? You could probably do the same thing with Reaper Man, but this is an indie film. It's an indie film.
Yep.
You can rent it for like $4.99, or you can buy it for, I think the highest is $12.99. Some of them is $9.99.
Yep.
You spend more than that on lunch.
Yep.
You spend more than that on gas. You know what I'm saying? So please stop acting like it's a chore for you to have to pay $5 to support an actual independent feature film that some dedicated artists put out.
Yeah. It's just the way it is. It might be on Netflix or something one day, but right now it's not. So random wise. Y'all make sure to support that film, and you'll see Kenon in there killing it and doing an amazing performance. So, bro, I appreciate you. I'm not gonna take too much more of your night. And to everybody else out there, episode 11, I promise you I'm gonna get right back on time and keep this thing rolling. Not sure of who my guest is gonna be, but we'll figure that out along the way. And up until next time, this is the Guerilla Filmer Podcast, and we will see y'all later.